Alright guys, Scrappy again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Black Ops 6 officially arrived yesterday for Call of Duty Next. The beta is coming very soon indeed. Lots to say on that, but also Rostermania kicking up into a new gear. Seattle Surge, despite a decent end to the season, have decided they're going to blow up their roster. aBeZy stays, 04 stays for now. Everyone else is seemingly gone, including Huke, who could be a key player in the off-season market. Attach a complete free agent as well from the Vegas Falcons, as they now are. Very much interested in your thoughts on where they might go in the comment section, or who might replace them. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. We're going to talk Black Ops 6. Of course, we talked about some of the movement that had kind of been leaked and revealed yesterday, but we got to see some of the boys actually play the game yesterday, and well, it was quite the time. Shotzzy was already coming up with some interesting ideas. I'm not going to lie, the game looks pretty phenomenal to play and to watch. Shotzzy was having a great time. I think there are going to be some problems, there are going to be some bugs, there are going to be some things to think about, but, you know, Shotzy's running around, having a good time with this, and Dashy's saying on the comms with Scump, like, yeah, if this Shotzzy guy's in the hill at all this year, I don't want to see it, right? I want this guy running around and abusing some of this movement, because, you know, the good players are going to absolutely farm on this. I definitely feel like from, well, a purely, shall we say, skill perspective, from the movement side, there's going to be a serious skill gap in this game. I mean, this kill he gets is pretty ridiculous. Dives sideways around the corner and mid-air shoots the guy. It doesn't feel like how Call of Duty has felt like for a very long time, if really ever. We've never seen stuff quite like this. This just one more example here of Shotzzy on this. Gets the first kill, flies over this and gets the second kill mid-air. So, you know, this is what it's all about in many ways. However, close range, you guys can kind of see the gunfights don't look that easy. And Shotzzy did mention yesterday, despite, to be fair, kind of beaming these guys across the map here, that he doesn't think the aim assist is that strong. Now, it's worth saying, this has been said before, actually by Shotzzy himself. As Jage pointed out to me in the replies, I literally also tweeted this last year on last year's MW3 saying the aim assist was weaker. And to be fair, it's expected, I think, for the players, having just come off a title that they've played and perfected and grinded for an entire year. Whatever new game you're going to play, I think the aim assist is going to feel weaker. But, and there's some debate on whether if you put on, like, the Black Ops aim assist or whatever, there's different aim assist settings nowadays. I wish there wasn't, but it is what it is. Maybe that changes things. But a couple of guys seem to agree on this, that the aim assist is weaker, and Shotzzy reckons there is more of a skill gap in shooting. Certainly he felt it at close range, that you have seemingly very limited aim assist. There was also some talk as well on a feature that I think was in Black Ops 3. I'm mentioning it again. Certainly it felt like it was. If you were playing Black Ops 3, here we go again. I've got a VMP in hand, shall we say, cross-mapping someone. If I hit the first bullet, for whatever reason, it felt like I got less recoil, and I don't know whether that was just merely, you know, byproduct of hitting the first bullet and therefore hitting more bullets after that, but it felt that way, that if you missed your first shot back then, if you were trying to map someone with an SMG or something, then it would be impossible, but if you hit your first shot, it gave you a chance. And there's some talk that Black Ops 6 has the same mechanics, or at least feels the same as that in some way, that if you really focus in on locking and hitting your first shot, then you can actually potentially map someone. Otherwise, though, if you're an SMG, you can't really, unless you're incredibly confident and talented, take gunfights against ARs at long range on a head glitch, which has not been the case in COD for like 5 years. And I really hope that that is true when the game arrives, that we actually have that skill gap where SMGs have to be considered in how they move around the map, rather than just taking all the chals in the world, as you have been able to do now for some time. I will say, just from this POV, this is with the Krig in hand, and you guys can see what is possible with this movement, right? I mean, flying around the corners, diving, shooting mid-air. Players such as Shotzzy, among others, are going to be able to use this to great effect, and when everyone's doing it, it's going to raise some questions. I mean, this kill, for example, is definitely interesting. Beans does mention the health in the game. It is 100 HP, not 150, which is fine, because it's all dependent, right? I mean, it could be 10 health if all guns do 2 damage per hit. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter as long as the numbers actually add up to be a reasonable time to kill. It seems, you know, I would say on the medium side. I don't think it's a slow time to kill. I don't think it's an especially fast time to kill. It seems okay to me, especially if the aim assist is weaker, which hopefully it is. And if it is, players like Dashy, for example, are going to be feasting, I'm sure. Cellium as well, here he is, with seemingly the Krig in hand, because that's what it looks like anyway. And here he is, popping a few snakes. No real surprise, dropping a 15 spree. at least testing out what the snaking is going to look like, at least from his point of view. Difficult to say what it looks like from an alternative point of view, but yeah, Cell snaking again already here on this new title, and hopefully, I imagine it will be gentleman's agreemented again, as it was thankfully last year. But yeah, Cell already seeing what those mechanics look like, and it's absolutely possible, right? Like, snaking is definitely a feature, and they've not attempted to remove it from the game, as they did, I think, in Black Ops 3. Bloody hell, I've done it again. But in Black Ops 3, the way that you laid down in that game meant that it was basically impossible to snake, whereas Cell, obviously it's possible here in Black Ops 6. This was crazy though. Here's Cellium with the SMG in hand, getting absolutely destroyed. And this is one of the things the Omni Movement is capable of, right? And this is the point again on the up-close aim assist seemingly not being as strong, because, you know, to me, it seems very unlikely that a guy like Cellium is not going to be able to get this kill. He doesn't even hit the re-snap properly, which is, I think, a good sign, because a player like Cellium you'd think would get this kill 100% guaranteed every single time, but no, the guy on the other side hits a dirty slide, then he ends up sliding on his back somehow. You guys can see it. I mean, I put this on the thumbnail. It's kind of absurd, isn't it? He then slides backwards, Cell's mind blown, and then he gets jump shotted. So, you know, this is what the Omni movement can look like from the other player's perspective, and Cell gets completely tucked into bed here. Now, I don't know what you guys think about this, whether this should be a piece of movement or not, but I think it's quite clear that there is going to be a skill gap in movement this year, and even between, I think, some of the pros, we're going to see some people doing stuff like this and winning gunfights they shouldn't, and because, you know, if Cellium loses that type of gunfight, anyone in the CDL is capable of losing that type of gunfight, and we're probably going to see more of that as the season goes on. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. One of the big news as well, though, yesterday was on ranked play. They confirmed, Treyarch, that they are going to try and bring it. I say that just because they've said this before. I don't know how confident I am, but it is Treyarch, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Ranked play is going to become earlier than ever in Season 1. So according to previous timings on when Season 1 will be, we're expecting maybe early to mid-December for ranked play to arrive, which is far better than like February or whatever they usually drop it at. So yeah, Treyarch are intending to bring it as early as possible. Of course, they're actually doing the ranked play, but this time for their own game, so it should be better and quicker, because for the last few years Treyarch have been tasked with doing the ranked play modes for Sledgehammer's games, for Infinity Ward's games, and there's obviously some integration in play there, whereas this time it's Treyarch's own game. So it seems like they are cooking. There was also something spotted in the code. There is a little line of code which allows SBMM, so skill-based matchmaking, to be turned off, and I don't think they're ever going to do it, but it's just worthy of considering. Like, look, if ranked play exists, surely that's where you go to play against people of your own skill level. Like, I'm sure people would have a lot of fun on this game if they could go into pubs and play against players that aren't as good, or whatever. Like, it's going to be a really fun pub game if you're not playing against sweats all the time. I think that's just how it goes. So the reality is I'm probably not going to play much public matches on this, but ranked play, I think, will be fun. Let's talk about Rostermania, though, because Vegas Falcons, they of course confirmed the other day that team of Xnid, Roxas, King of Body, and Khalid is going to be their roster for going into the new season. Lucy is the coach. Theory, then their previous coach is gone, and now of course Attach is gone as well. I think it's likely this will work out for the better for Attach, actually, because there were some rumours going down during the World Cup that, well, Attach might be locked down to the team. They obviously valued Attach, Vegas Legion, but now they no longer exist. It's moving over ownership to the Falcons, and that deal is now done. And the rumour was that, yeah, they were going to let Nero go and let the other guys go, but Attach was going to be potentially locked down to a contract and stuck there, which you know, isn't ideal, because look, you get a CDL spot, well done, but you're playing for Vegas and you're not getting the most money. It is what it is. And I think that Attach, because he signed a 1+1, they were looking to extend him, and that wasn't necessarily going to be ideal. Now, Attach had an interesting season. At times I thought he was, like, you know, near enough a top 5 AR. At times he seemed somewhat lost on the map. I imagine that was you know, partly Vegas Legion related, and the whole situation over there. Like, the reality is that team was never going to be a massively, you know, competitive franchise, or whatever you want to say. But I still think Attach is a player with some life in him yet, and maybe this year he's going to get that slice of the pie yet again. So I think Attach should get some opportunities elsewhere. There will be talk, I'm sure, about bringing Attach onto various teams. Where you think he might go, that's an interesting question, but I think that it's probably a good sign for him in general that he's not stuck on a team, because, well, if you're Attach, what would you prefer to do? Play another year stuck on Legion, or I imagine Attach's intention was, even this past season, okay, whatever, I've got to play for Legion this year, then is another, you know, hopefully getting a spot on another team, for example, and maybe a return to the Minnesota Rocker or G2 could be on the cards. I wouldn't entirely rule that out as well, and we'll discuss what can happen with some other players here in just a second. But yeah, the jersey went hard this year, Vegas, but of course the organization is now long gone, and Attach isn't going to stay because they're going the Saudi Arabian route. The other big confirmation of yesterday, though, from the now Vancouver Surge, and well, they're Vancouver Surge, but their @ on Twitter is Surge Vancouver, which is kind of disgusting, I'm not going to lie. Now, I kind of get it, and also some of these teams may have well decided now that actually the, well, brand name carries more weight than the city does, which I feel like has been true from day one, but it is what it is. They're letting aBeZy go, and they're letting Huke go as well. So they do a couple of tweets yesterday, one of which for aBeZy, and one of which for Huke as well just before. With bright attitude and leadership qualities, you'll be missed around the camp. Here they are, of course, at the World Cup out there in Riyadh. And I did mention the other day, a few of you guys pointed out to me, that of course, well, Huke was born in Saudi Arabia. I believe he grew up in the Netherlands, then he moved to the States at some point. But a Saudi-born player could well be a target for Falcons at some point, right? Like, I think if Falcons don't perform in the early part of the season with that 4-man roster that they're currently forming, then getting a guy like Huke, or even just going in an entirely different direction, could be a good way to go. Now, you know, Huke I thought was pretty good this season. Genuinely, when they had that team when Arcetes was still there, you guys remember when they would play high-rise control or invasion control and just not even seem to try at all? Huke was at that point like the only guy actually giving it effort, I thought, really on the team. And yes, he's naturally going to play the way that he plays. He's going to make some brain dead plays at some point. He's going to make some mistakes. But obviously when he's on, he's on. He can shoot well. And clearly a talented SMG player. It's just unfortunate that I don't think we're going to ever see Huke quite reach the heights again that we saw from him, even when he first came into the scene back in Advanced Warfare nigh on a decade ago. So, you know, everyone knows what you get with Huke. You get some highs, you get some lows. That is what it is. But I'm definitely a piece of what can be a very solid team. And Surge is deciding to get rid of him. Bit of a surprise to me. They're keeping aBeZy clearly. And, well, aBeZy may get sold. It's not impossible. They could let him go for some money, but we're pretty sure that it's a buyout situation. But it does seem like Huke and aBeZy have been released as unrestricted free agents, right? So I don't think they're asking for a buyout here, Surge. It definitely seems like they've just, you know, released him and said, thanks, Huke, we're going to be letting you go now. A couple of surprises in a way. I mean, obviously, aBeZy and aBeZy were a good duo, and I think aBeZy was a very respectable and solid player this year. If you're Surge trying to get better, sure, looking for a aBeZy replacement, I totally get it, but it also felt like that helped aBeZy having that, you know, player that he'd teamed with before in there. And maybe aBeZy could make a move to, let's say, you know, Rocker work or G2, because we're pretty sure they're putting together Lins and Cobra. So, you know, the team with aBeZy, Lins, Cobra, and aBeZy was the Awobabobs team that frankly dominated a lot of challenges in Modern Warfare 2. So maybe there's something in that. And Huke, I mean, surely he's going to get some offers somewhere, you would think. As I say, you know what you get with Huke. There's ups, there's downs, but we don't have many SMGs on the market, and Huke at his ceiling is one of the absolute best ever. So I'm a tad surprised, I think, that Surge have just let both of these guys completely walk away, and that then leaves 04 and aBeZy as a core 2 that I suppose they're looking to build around, right? So very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below, but big developments last night, because definitely there are teams around the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th kind of range that will be looking at Huke especially, and then potentially aBeZy as well as a good role player to potentially level up their team for next season. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
What are your thoughts on this though, Ian? Like right away, what's going to be meta? What's already like catching your eye? I gotta hear this.
Well, I think fucking casuals are gonna get shit on bad, right? It's gonna be real bad.
Wait, no cap, no cap. This is such a grinder game. This is such a grinder game.
They're going to get fucking. I mean,
it's mixtape. It's literally a mixtape, COD.
Wow, shitter lobbies are just gonna have everyone sprinting around, no slide, no dive.
No Omni.
Ooh.
Wait, who are we on? Are we still on Shotzzy?
I'm on Shotzzy, yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys watch Ant rage quit, or not rage quit, but just quit because he thought he was playing against bots?
Yeah, he got an 8-piece and then left.
I was like, bro, those are real people, dude.
Yo, he actually got 8 and left. Bro,